Hi, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is a very brightly colored fall flowers lace frame card because I am featuring the flowers lace frame die that you see there on the left from Elizabeth Kraft Designs. So the Kraft cardstock that you see there is the die cut out. It is 5.5 by 5.5 inches. And then I have also embossed the die onto a piece of Bristol smooth cardstock using, the arrangement that my die cutter says for the plates to get it to emboss rather than cut. So you'll probably have to check with your die cutter instructions to see how to do that. But it's pretty important because I wanted to color the flowers so they would show through the die cut frame. And initially I thought, well, I could probably just eyeball it and like color in certain areas without embossing the paper. But this die is so intricate that just would have been impossible. So embossing it really made it a lot easier for me to know where to color. So as you can see, I'm using my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and that's also why I'm using Bristol Smooth cardstock because it blends very nicely on Bristol Smooth. And I am blending the colors into each other rather than using any water today. So that initial yellow color was 50 yellow. Then I added 52 bright yellow for some shading, which is really more of an orange. And then I blended it with 51 lemon yellow. The center is 24 wine red, and then that purple color is 82 purple. And then I'm going to color some of the leaves with, I'm trying to do like a little bit of a fall blend here. So I've got the 52 bright yellow, excuse me, 45 pale green, and then I'll blend a little, and then blend a little bit with the yellow, and then this is 47 May green, and I'll blend it all again with the yellow to get sort of a look of a fall leaf, going from green to orangey yellow. And then I'm adding 70 orange in a few places, and that's kind of the color palette for most of the card. Although I will wind up using some 22 carmine red and some black, but you won't see that till the very end. So I'm going to just kind of go around and basically color all of the flowers in this color palette. So all of the little accent flowers, the little buds are going to be the purple. The leaves are going to be the green, and then sometimes blending with the orange and the yellow. I have the orange color on sort of the corners and then that middle flower. And then this flower on the right hand side, the yellow flower, that is actually the one that's going to turn to carmine red and black. Because once I had colored all the big flowers yellow and put the frame over it, there's just way too much yellow happening. So I had to add another shade, and the red was really nice for that. And I wanted to mention that it's really important when you're coloring this that you color like every single bit of the embossed flower. And even though that seems easy and obvious, it's actually a little bit trickier than you would think. So it does kind of look a little bit messy in the end, as you see here, because you're not trying to be too precise, because it really is better to kind of color the flowers in a more of a blob, because the lace frame that you see there is going to kind of add the structure to the colored elements. And if you don't color it real well, you're going to see white spots in the end. Now my card base is 5.5 by 5.5. This center panel I die cut out of some orange cardstock, and then I added some little faux stitching lines all the way around it with the wine red marker. Then I have also die cut out this the smaller floral piece out of a piece of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock, and it has clear double-sided adhesive sheet on the back because I'm going to turn that into a sticker, and I'll do something more with that in a minute. And then the greeting is just for you, that is die cut also out of 85-pound white soft finish cardstock using the words to thinking of you die set. So now I'm going to do my special thing with this little piece. So I've got a piece of scratch paper, and I'm going to fussy cut out the two leaves on the bottom that are just stuck off to the right, and then the large flower. And the rest of it I won't need. So I'm cutting obviously a border all the way around the flower shape. And then I'm going to do the same thing with each leaf, and I'm going to cut the leaves apart. And that does get a little tricky because the area right in between them is very narrow. So the edge gets very, very skinny. And I will confess that I did have one of the leaves tear and the flower did tear at one point. But because I have that clear double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of it, it was really, really easy to stick it down and just stick the pieces right back together. So you would never know that they tore. So that was kind of nice. Now, obviously, I'm coloring the flower with the 82 purple marker. And then I'm going to color the little leaves with the 47 May green and then blend with the 45 pale green so that they color coordinate with the coloring I've already done on the embossed panel. Because this is going to be a little bit of an accent on that orange center panel frame shape thing. You know what I'm saying. And now to adhere down my very intricate die cut frame, I'm using a Zig 2A glue pen. Now it may seem a little bit nuts because it's liquid glue, but the reason I did this is I knew it was going to be pretty tricky to adhere the lace frame on top of the colored embossed panel and get it to line up just perfectly the first time. So I needed to have some ability to lift it up and reposition it in order to get it perfectly aligned over the colored flowers. And now here I have a few areas where I have some little bit of white showing. So I'm sorry I'm getting off camera here, but I am just basically very carefully touching up some of the purple flowers using the purple marker. And I'm being very careful to only color on the white part, not get it on the Kraft colored frame. And I did this for a couple different colors, like the green and the orange, I think. And then that's complete. Now to finish my little center panel, I'm taking the backing off the adhesive side of the purple flower. I'm noticing that I've got some white sections still showing, so I'm just touching up with my purple marker here all the way around the edges because I don't want the white to show. It'll show up a lot when you stick it on the orange. And then I'm adhering that down just below the stitching detail on the center orange panel. And then I'm going to adhere the one leaf on each side of the flower. And I'm going to very purposely leave a space between the flower and the leaf to mimic the spacing of the lace frame. So you see on that lace frame, like there's space between every petal and every flower and every motif. So I was mimicking that a little bit with this colored motif on the orange panel. And now I'm going to just adhere the Just For You sentiment down to the orange panel using my Zig 2A glue pen. Had I thought of it, I should have put double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of the 85 pound white soft finish cardstock before I die cut the words out, but I didn't think of it. That would have been easy because it would have turned them into a sticker, but the glue pen works too. So now to adhere the entire piece together, I've got 10mm clear double-sided adhesive sheet or adhesive tape on the back of the flower panel. And I'm going to adhere this very carefully down to the top of the top folding card base. And I don't know about you, but I always wind up with at least one edge that's sticking out a tiny bit. So I always have to trim it off. Can never get it exactly correct. Every once in a while, but very rarely. So I've trimmed it down, and now I'm going to adhere the orange panel in the middle with some 6mm clear double-sided adhesive tape. So I just kind of lay it down very lightly, arrange it how I want it, and then press it down to adhere it really nicely. And that is the completed card. I didn't add any glitter. I didn't add any extras. I know that seems crazy for me, but I thought it was great just on its own. I thought the coloring was really bright and really fun. It kind of reminded me of Talavera or Majolica pottery, if you've ever seen that. I think just because it's so brightly colored and then the way the borders are with the frame just kind of reminded me of that style of pottery. So very fun, I think, and different way to use your intricate die cuts. So hopefully I've inspired you today to try coloring behind some of those very intricate die cuts to see what you get. It's kind of a different look and a new way to use those die cuts, I think. So thanks so much for watching. Supplies are linked in the video description and over on my blog. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment because I love getting comments. Here are 2 more projects I've done in the past for Elizabeth Craft Design, so please check those out. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love it if you do that as well. Thanks so much. Have a great day.